Welcome back to another episode, Trailblazers. I'm pumped. This episode is gonna be so good. I can just feel it in my bones. It's gonna be huge. Get ready. Get ready. Right after this message, I'm bringing you an awesome episode today. 4, 6 in a second. Alright, and we're back. So, let's get right into it. Trailblazers, welcome back. I'm Nandis, ESL Trailblazer. Let's make something happen. Let's build momentum this week, okay? So, I got a little story, personal story. This past weekend was a long weekend, and I got to go away with some friends. I went to Świętokrzyskie. You know where that is? Don't worry, you don't need to know. It's somewhere in Poland. I was in the countryside, and I was staying in a cottage. And I was with Polish people. It was fun! And I got to do some things that I don't get to do very often, especially since I'm a city boy. And Polish people have a culture of being in the countryside and doing things outdoors. So it inspired me to make a lesson about it. And you know what that's about? Barbecuing! There is never a barbecue section in any course book. I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, man, culture is different everywhere. And in English or Polish or Greek or Irish or German, wherever you go, the culture of barbecuing and grilling is always unique. It's like a staple of the culture, you know, and there's never anything in a lesson about it. And you know, once you get the ball rolling on grilling, oh boy, like everybody gets involved, you know. I mean, if I just smell the smoke, I'm like a bloodhound, man. I just start chasing it down. I'm like, oh, I get jealous of the people who are doing the barbecue, and it makes me like really want to start doing my own barbecue. So, I mean, I know you know what I'm talking about here. I mean, you can even barbecue with vegetarians nowadays. There's veggies that go on the grill, and you know that they taste better than in the oven. Let's be honest here, right? You can put anything on the barbecue. Anything tastes better when it's on a flame. Oh, you know it. So, I've noticed, living for a long time in Poland, the intricacies and the uniqueness in the way Polish people choose to barbecue and how they do it because they love it as much as everybody else, and the way I grew up with it in Greece and the way I grew up with it in America, which, you know, we got a huge barbecue culture there. Alright, so I'm going to get right into these differences right now, and if you are a teacher, you might be able to use some of this as a lesson starter. I mean, every student is going to have a story to share, and I'll give you some vocabulary connected with this as I'm telling you the story. So, it was the second day of my trip, and this cottage had a fire pit outside. That's what we call it, a fire pit. And in Poland, if you have a fire pit and you're staying at a place that's well organized, it usually has like this kind of tripod where there's a chain hanging from the middle of it, and the grill is hanging on the chain over the fire pit, okay? So you make the fire, and then you put your food on that grill right there that's hanging from the chain. That's like super traditional Polish style, okay? Not at someone's house, but like, as I said, in the countryside, in a cottage that we were at, okay, in the forest, all right? And, well, you need some tools to do this, but we didn't have any of those tools. I will tell you the tools in a moment. We just used a fork and a knife, and you know what we grilled? Well, if you're Polish, you definitely know what we grill, because there's only one thing that Polish people like to grill more than anything else. Kielbasa, and that's sausage, okay? That's the standard, okay? That's the culture, sausage, okay? Sometimes they put a little bit of boczek on there. That's bacon for you non-Polish speakers. Sometimes they put a little bit of pork steaks, garczek on there. They marinate it, but you know the staple is the kielbasa, okay? And first vocabulary is that what Polish people do is, and I saw one of my friends doing this, is they make some incisions into the sausage, into the meat, so the fat can ooze out and drip out as it's being cooked. Now, the word we use, we can make incisions, which are very small little cuts, or you can pierce it. The word is pierce, like with just a fork, make holes. That's what we say, pierce, okay? Obviously, you can slice it because the kielbasa or the sausage comes sometimes too long, and you can make it into smaller pieces for individuals to eat, okay? And usually with the kielbasa, what's very traditional in Poland and people like to do a lot is they wrap a potato in aluminum foil, okay, and then they throw it in the fire, right there in the fire proper, not on the grill, and they leave it there for like 40 minutes. That's something that we don't do in Greece or in America. I don't know, probably maybe in other countries they do it, but that's a very Polish thing. So right there, I've told you what the Polish tradition is. I'm sure if you're an English learner and you're Polish, you want to hear about the other ones, and that's what I also want to share. So as a foreigner, though, going through that experience, I just want to tell you, it's awesome, okay? I know Polish people, you appreciate it because it's yours, but as a foreigner, I would like to say it's great because I don't eat kielbasa a lot. I don't eat a lot of sausage anymore now that I've been living here for so long. But man, when there's a sausage that's getting grilled on the fire, nothing tastes better, okay? Sausage doesn't taste the same in an oven. It doesn't taste the same in a pot with oil and onion. Boo. Boo, okay, on a fire and a little bit charred. That's the word, charred. It means it's a little bit black in certain edges and certain spots of the sausage, okay? That's what you eat that, you're in heaven, okay? Mustard, for me it's mustard, okay? Rosyjska is my favorite because it's bardzo ostre. I'm in heaven. A little bit of bread, I got that potato going, boom, I'm set, okay? Unbelievable. But what do we do in America? We don't do any of that, okay? We don't do any of that. Australians, they don't do that, okay? In America, 4th of July or any other time, hamburgers and hot dogs, I don't need to tell you, buns, ketchup, mustard, and steaks, okay? Those are our staples, all right? When we do a barbecue, that's what we got. And we also have all the tools, which in Poland, they don't really care about too much. They don't. But in America, it's like, you need to have the proper grill. You need to have the proper tools. And your toolkit needs to come in like a special little carrying bag, okay? So what are the tools? Tongs, T-O-N-G-S. Tongs for catching the hot dogs. Very useful for sausages too, okay? Spatula for flipping the burgers. You gotta be good at that. You gotta be good at that if you want to be a good burger flipper, right? Then you got the grill brush, which is like to clear off the rack or the grate. That's what the grill part is called, okay? Then we have a basting brush, which is what you put like on the steak afterwards if you're basting it with some kind of sauce. In America, they usually put barbecue sauce, which for me is terrible. I mean, do you want to eat the meat or do you want to taste barbecue sauce? I don't know what they're doing over there, but for me, no good, okay? Salt and pepper that baby up, and we're good to go. That's another thing. Very good expression for this episode. Too many cooks spoil the broth. That's very pertinent to this discussion. And I'll tell you why. Because men, all of them think they know how to grill. Not true. Not true, okay? And when there is a grill, they all gather around the fire. It's usually men. And they want to do the grilling. They want to show that they're the experts. They want to do it. They just want to do it. Now, my Polish friends, because they've been doing it all summer, allowed me to start the fire. And we did the grilling together. So it was very nice and peaceful, and it was great. But this is an example where when too many people want to get in and try and do it their way or try to tell you how to do it, too many cooks spoil the broth. It means too many cooks ruin the meal. And that's what happens with the barbecuing. Also, just a little tip. If you're at a barbecue and you see a guy who is turning over the meat again and again and again, especially if it's steak, they have no idea what the hell they're doing. Don't eat it. It's going to be super dry or it's going to be inedible. Okay? Stay away from that. Try and be polite and get out of there, okay? So, just a little word of advice from my experience, okay? So, back to the cultural stuff. I've given you some language there that I hope is useful. Remember, you need the basics like salt and pepper. You need silverware. You need napkins. You need, what else do you need? You need a flashlight or a torch if it's getting dark. Okay, you need the support up there to watch it for you, all right? And I've given you the words pierce, incision, charred. My guests also prepared stuffed mushrooms, which was kind of a nice Polish thing, which we do in Australia and America, but it's usually with oil and vinegar or some kind of marinade. They stuffed it with cheese, like a soft cheese, which was something different for me, but I enjoyed it. And of course the charred potato, that comes out of the fire it tastes like no potato you've ever eaten. So if you ever visit Poland, you need to try that because it's amazing. But in Greece, we don't do any of that. We don't do buns. We don't do burgers. We don't do hot dogs on the grill. We grill octopus. We grill fish, like whole fish, not fillets like in America. Okay? And we grill lamb chops. We love lamb chops. We're like, a Greek and lamb chops, oh my God, match made in heaven, okay? So, completely different, you see? It's completely different. And of course, the way we grill, we don't really use all those tools. I don't know what it's called in English, and I'm saying this in the episode live, so maybe that's kind of embarrassing. But it's that special kind of holder grill that like you flip and closes the meat in so that you can flip it easier. Maybe in the comments someone can check that for me and help out a fellow teacher. But that's what we use for the fish in Greece and for the lamb chops. Very common piece of equipment that we use that in America I never see. Okay? So the equipment is different. The food that we grill is different. The way we do it is different. Like in America, because we pride ourselves in the equipment, we have like a huge, big, monster gas grill, usually on like a porch or a balcony or whatever on a terrace. And in Poland, they'll stick with the little tiny thing just to get the job done, you know, portable thing on 3 legs that just, you know, grills that sausage, baby. Or the fire pit, which is another very nice touch. Okay, so it's all a little bit different. And also what they have in Poland, which is cool, is you can have a stick and put the sausage at the end of it. Bow. Absolutely zajebiście. So that's what I wanted to share with you this week. The culture of grilling is very intricate, it's very unique, and it's great to do a lesson on. I've given you a lot of language right there that I think you can use in your lesson with your students. Don't forget the bottle opener. Gotta have that. It goes together, all right? And I think I'm going to come back to this topic because it is culture related. There's a lot of vocabulary, and I think it's useful for students. I'm sharing the Polish version because I live in Poland and I'm a teacher here, but I'm sure you as a teacher from another country can make the comparison if you work in Spain or Italy or Turkey. I know I've had barbecue in Turkey, completely different. The kebab there is bow. So share, make a lesson about it. I'm sure your students will find it really interesting. It is culture and it's something that everybody enjoys. Like I said, vegetarian or not, you like it. Because it's also a social kind of thing. It brings people together. So, thank you for watching another episode of ESL Trailblazer. Freshen Up Fridays newsletter coming up. Subscribe, the link is below. I've got more insights coming with a blog and a lesson idea. Thank you for watching. Please show your support, follow or share. I'm Nanda signing out. You have a great week. Build that momentum, make something happen, and I'll see you back next week for another episode. Feels so good, and now I'm really hungry for some barbecue. See ya.